Alright guys, it's time. My Hero Academia Chapter 286 Summary. The title is One Among Us. Let's get right into this. The chapter opens up with Deku looking at Bakugo in shock, as Bakugo says to win alone without friends, as he begins to fall the ground. Okay, so this is an interesting one, right? Bakugo says to win alone without friends. His whole character is based on winning and by himself, winning by himself. He wants to be that one-man army, so he says that, and then he begins to fall because he got pierced through by those forced quirk activation tendrils, and so he's falling. And Shigaraki then gurgles aloud and thrashes around with his body still extremely charred because of that prominence burn that Endeavor wrecked him with last chapter. Bakugo then falls from the sky, but Todorki catches him. Okay, nice. Shigaraki then says, "There was useless blood lost in today's battle." First of all, I'm surprised he can still speak after that prominence burn, but there was useless blood lost in today's battle. That's an interesting line right there. Okay. And Deku looks alarmed as Shigaraki suddenly gears up with AFO again, as he says, "This was the biggest waste of time." Okay, he says it again. Interesting. I don't know what the heck's happening with him, but whatever. There is sudden inner dialogue that says that if someone wields power in anger and without control, that power will respond in a vicious way. And this appears to be foreshadowing because we then see Deku, who has really lost his cool, gearing up to deal a blow to Shigaraki. That's a powerful line right there. It fits in many different situations, especially with Deku right now. He just clouded with anger, and I can definitely see his power being affected by how enraged he is. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Okay, so he bites Shigaraki's all-for-one tendril and shatters it, saying aloud, "Cancel it." But it is a bit unclear as to what he is referring to. It is likely that Deku is referring to Shigaraki's potential acquisition of Bakugo's quirk. Alright, before we get to that part, him biting all-for-one's tendril and shattering it with his teeth, that's just badass right there. Badass. Okay. And he says cancel it. So it's likely referring to then that Shigaraki has acquired Bakugo's quirk. That is insane. Does that mean that Bakugo is now quirkless? Is this all tying it back to when Deku was quirkless and now Bakugo is the one without a quirk while Deku has the quirk? That's insane. I wonder how he's going to deal with that, if that is the case. That is, there is a cutscene to those students in the town, and the newscaster is above Gigantamakia in a helicopter screaming about having to evacuate the area, urging everyone to run immediately. We then see Ochako reflecting on how uneasy she felt about the situation because of the many run-ins her class has had with Shigaraki, and that she knew it would lead to something awful. Okay, so we get some more context to what's happening outside this battlefield. She has everyone in her thoughts. Okay. Suddenly, the scene goes back to show Todorki screaming in horror as Shigaraki digs his hand into Deku's face. That is insane. Does that mean he could just kill Deku right then and there, right? His eradication quirk just turns everything to dust. Does that not mean that Shigaraki can just kill Deku right there? Or is he so burnt out from Endeavor's prominence burn and just fighting Deku in general that he can't even activate his quirk anymore? I don't know. He yells Midoriya in absolute horror as he holds Bakugo to prevent him from falling. Midoriya is extremely shocked as he faces Shigaraki, who smugly says to him, "I touched you," pause. I'll get it. Okay. So what does that mean he's going to get Deku's quirk as well? What is happening in this chapter? Okay, there's still more. We then see Deku in the Vestige area for One for All. He appears to be alone and wonders if he is dead. What this reminds me of? This reminds me of Harry Potter when he was facing Voldemort and he just wakes up in this white mysterious room and he wonders if he's dead. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. Then realizes that that's not what's happening. Deku then sees All for One holding Shigaraki in a chair as they appear out of the shadows. Okay, interesting. Shigaraki says, "Don't come out," as All for One rambles about his need to help Shigaraki after Shigaraki's quirk manifested, and that he has had to deal with life and death. Okay, I'm getting twice vibes right here. It's like All for One inside of Shigaraki, and that's what's causing him to say that. Is he having a fight over control over his body? That's insane. It looks almost like All for One is choking Shigaraki, but this is uncertain. Shigaraki says, "You want me to stop talking, but it's my will. It's my dream." As he attempts to convince himself that he is still in control of his body, not All for One. So yeah, it looks like there's an internal struggle between Shigaraki and All for One. Deku looks on in abject horror. Deku suddenly falls onto the ground. Nana grabs him. Nana, the previous holder before All Might, and he grabs him by the hair, saying, "You can't move in this world yet." Okay, so are they in this world yet? So they're in the Vestige area. So is that like a separate world where only users of All for One and One for All can interact? Because Shigaraki's there, Deku's there, Nana's there, and they have the common link that they're either connected to One for All or All for One. So interesting. It's a weird. I don't even know what's going on there. So we'll do something about that. Chapter end. Okay. This was okay. I'm kind of speechless, not gonna lie. Like, what? So we don't know if Bakugo is dead or alive. The fact that it's leaning toward that he's quirkless, since Deku told Shigaraki to give it back. So I'm assuming that he's alive but quirkless. That's what I'm assuming from that. And then Shigaraki grabs Deku's face, digs his hand into Deku's face. I don't know what the heck that would even look like. That's insane. Okay, and then he goes back to the Vestige area, and he wonders if he's dead, but he sees Shigaraki, and then Shigaraki has this internal struggle with All for One, and then Nano appears out of nowhere. This is an interesting chapter, guys. I can't wait until what the next one looks like. One Among Us. Alright, guys, that's it for me for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys next time.